We're going.
We're going to WrestleMania, and we're lucky enough to be able to watch the Final Four and the championship together.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll make this transition now from the WWE portion to the NCAA tournament portion. I have the bracket on my wall. Solid tournament so far.
Yeah, it's been good. I like it. We talked before the tournament. One thing I did not want was a Cinderellas in the Final Four.
Yeah.
The first round, it's all right. Maybe even the first weekend, but the Sweet 16 is the end of the Cinderellas for me. I don't want them teams playing to go to the Final Four, because last year's Final Four to me was really hard to watch. I mean, you watched Butler play VCU to go to a final, and then watch Connecticut and Kentucky play to go to a final. Now, come on. I mean, at least if Kentucky and Connecticut could have played in the final.
Championship, right.
This year we got 3 powerhouses in Louisville who really ruined my whole day last Saturday. Really made me sad. But this is going to be a really good Final Four. Kentucky could stake their claim as, to me, one of the all-time great teams with a win on Monday night.
Yeah, I've told you this. My college basketball viewing memories go back to about 2000. Michigan State won the title that year. If Kentucky brings home this championship, as you just mentioned, they're probably the best team I remember watching. And I've told you this, and it's not just because you're a Florida fan. At the time, I was too. The only other team I could see competing with them is the 2007 Florida Gators, the second of their back-to-back championships. For the most part, they've handled their business in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they've really had no problem in any round. I mean, Indiana scored a lot of points on them. That game was close for a little bit.
But you never really got...
You never thought they were going to lose.
Iowa State kept it close for about 30 minutes.
And then it just was...
Yeah.
It seems like Kentucky hits that one run in every game.
They flipped the switch.
It was like last week Baylor was winning 10-5 or 11-5, and then it was like 27-11.
Yeah.
And you're
like, something like an 18-0 run, I think.
And you're like, what just happened? It was like Kentucky you have no weaknesses on that team. There's not one guy that you could say we got to go at him because he can't play defense, because that's not the case with this team. And for me, this has been, you got to give Calipari all the credit in the world to get a group of guys that were all high school all-stars. We've talked about it. 7 guys in high school last year averaged over 25 a game that he's brought into one team and bought into his program. And they're a really unselfish team.
Unselfish, and the fact that you can get so many guys that young to buy into playing defense like they do. I think those are the 2 most impressive things, aside from the talent that they have, which...
Because they've had this much talent before. They had Wall and Cousins and them guys. They were probably just as talented, but they were all for themselves.
Right.
And this team is all about winning.
Mm.
And I think that's what separates them, because there's a lot of talented teams, but you can't get too many teams that are this young to buy into the team concept and the defensive concept as much as this team does.
No, I see them as the big-time favorites. I thought that way from the start of the tournament. A tricky matchup in the Final Four, though. Louisville, a rivalry game.
Hot team.
Hot team, riding a Big East championship run. Knocking off Michigan State, the 1 seed, then Florida, and a comeback victory. Sorry. And played them tough in Lexington on December 31st, a game that you and I caught a little bit of. What do you see from Louisville that could give Kentucky some problems?
I don't know. Really, I don't.
It's hard.
It's really
with
hard.
With a team as good as Kentucky, it's hard to nitpick and say that.
The only thing I could think of is if somehow Louisville could score consistently, where they could get their press and turn Kentucky over some and get easy baskets. But there's not. Kentucky's a team that you can't just look at and say, if this team does this, they got a shot to beat them, because
you need to do a lot of things.
It's so hard to do that against Kentucky because you got guys that could. I mean, Anthony Davis is blocking 3-pointers,
and like you said, even if they could find a way to score on them, Indiana put up 90 on Kentucky. Kentucky happened to score 102.
Right.
You know, it's not like you can say, okay, if we can make this an up-tempo game, we got a shot, or if we can keep this low scoring, we're in good shape.
You know,
they could win either way.
Another thing with this Kentucky team compared to, a couple of years ago or last year, this team's really good at the free throw line.
Mm-hmm. Usually a glaring weakness of Calipari's teams in general.
And they shoot a very high percentage from the 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
Going in, everybody was like, you got to get Kentucky to shoot threes. That's how you're going to beat them. Well, that ain't the case.
No.
Because I think that's what some teams have tried to do, and they just keep knocking them down.
Yeah.
Maybe obviously, it's a lot tougher to make threes than it is dunks.
Yeah.
So that's obviously the route Louisville's got to go, is maybe pack in a zone and say, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us shooting threes, not in here. Louisville's got the good shot blocker underneath. They got Bohannon, the freshman. He's a pretty good rebounder. The thing is with them is they get in foul trouble.
Yeah.
And if Siva gets in foul trouble...
The last 2 games, he's...
Yeah, I mean, if he gets in foul trouble, they're in big trouble. But... Are we doing our picks now?
Yeah, we could do picks.
Obviously, I'm taking Kentucky. I think Louisville will keep this game close probably for about 25 to 28 minutes. Then Kentucky's going to hit that spurt, maybe that 6-7-0 run, and make it from a 7-point or a 6-point game to a 13, 14, 15-point game. And then Louisville's just, maybe get it down to 10 one time, but it'll be too much of a uphill battle for Louisville to climb. And I got Kentucky.
I have Kentucky too. I don't think it gets totally out of hand, even though if you look at the talent alone.
Pitino's going to have Louisville ready to play.
Pitino, great coach. 4 really good coaches in this Final Four.
Every one of them coaching a championship game.
Yeah. Being a rivalry game, I think that lowers the likelihood of a team getting blown out. I say kind of about what you said. Kentucky wins between 10 and 15.
Mm-hmm. But I think Louisville will keep it close for a while. Pitino's too good of a coach. He's going to have something to some kind of gimmick, maybe it just comes down to him playing 4 corners and trying to slow the game down as much as he can.
Sure.
Maybe it just comes down to that, and tries to frustrate a younger Kentucky team to where they kind of get out of their rhythm a little bit, and maybe that's what gives him a shot to win, because playing up and down, you're not going to beat them.
Too athletic.
Yeah, so probably their only shot maybe is to just spread the court and say we'll take shot clock violations, and
worth a try. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Louisville's playing with house money.
Yeah,
not many people expected
them
to get here. We both had them losing round 2.
Yep. I watched Louisville play the last Saturday of the regular season against Syracuse, and they looked like one of the worst teams I had seen all year. Like, they could not make a shot. They could not. I mean, coming into the Big East tournament, I said the first game, I said, this Seton Hall will kill Louisville. I just thought they were awful. Then they beat Seton Hall. I was like, well, Marquette's going to kill Louisville. well, now they're playing, who they play, South Florida or something. Okay, now all of a sudden they're playing South Florida and Cincinnati, and I'm like, wow.